Hi everybody. For this demo, I'm going to be showing you the Craft with Heart card making subscription. And I'm actually going to make all 12 cards. You can actually make 24, but I'm going to make one of each that you can get in the subscription every 4 months. It's really, really fun and very, very easy. So stay tuned. Hi everybody. For this demo, I'm going to be talking about the Craft with Heart card making kit, and I'm going to make some cards for you and show you the kit. Now, the first time I made this video, I showed basically an unboxing and showed you from the start everything that was in this box. And then I looked at my videos and only 5 seconds had recorded. So I'm going to do an unboxing again, although it's not going to be quite the same because I've already have taken it apart. And so just pretend that you're seeing this and everything was intact in the box. So basically when you get your box, you're going to get a set of directions. And they're very, very simple directions because these are very, very simple cards. This is made so that anybody can make a card. Kids can make these easily. People who have never made a card before can make these easily. It is made to be quick and easy. So some of the stuff that you're going to get in, I believe one or two of the cards, probably just one of the cards today is going to have a shaker window and acetate in it, a shaker window. And you're going to get envelopes for every card. This time they're brown, made out of craft paper. You're going to get a stamp set, and this is a whole stamp set, and a block in here. Now, to save on money and postage and everything, they did not put the envelope that normally comes with a stamp set. But you can buy those separately. We do sell those, I think, in packs of 10, maybe packs of 5, if that's something that's important to you. But otherwise, there's an entire stamp set and a block. So even if you're not a stamper at all and never have used a block or don't have a block at all, they're going to give you a block in here. And along with that, they're going to give you ink. So here's a little mini ink pad right there that you're going to get in every single set of these. Now, they also give you a big package of stars. Now, I already moved my stars into this case, into our little round case here. And now I forgot what the name of it is, but whatever. The craft box, I think. Little craft, whatever. But anyway, so I've already put that in, and you're going to see as I show the cards how I did that as far as making sure that there's no, not too much static electricity in there. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then this is actually where I punched out. So they give you card bases and the punch outs for them. And each one of the card base punch outs tells you which card all of these go to. So I've already split these up because, like I said, I thought I made this video the first time. So I've already split these up and put these with the card. You're going to get 2 cards for each one of these designs. And so I've already put the 2 cards with the pieces together on all of these. And so you would just do that when you get it. You're going to punch them out and it shows you exactly which pieces go to which card. Makes it so simple. I was able to do that in 5 minutes. Now, they say that all you really need to make these cards is some adhesive and some pop dots. I'm going to recommend a few other things too. I'm going to recommend a bone folder. If you have one, doesn't matter. A knife will do, a knife with a soft end on it. I use shimmer brush on a lot of these, so I got my clear shimmer brush. Something to pick up those little embellishments. If you do use these embellishments, I think these are just made for the shaker card, but I haven't done all the cards yet, so we'll see if they put those on any of the other cards too. You're gonna see that I use the anti-static pouch, and that's one of the things I used with those to make these not stick so much. A glue eraser is always handy to have because we all make mistakes, right? I use pen glue. This is not by Close to My Heart. It's by Zig, but I really like it because you can get into tiny spots. Then regular adhesive. I use Tombow. Foam dots, or our foam rolls too would work. A pair of scissors, although really you don't need those. Undo is always handy in case you make a mistake. And then your chamois to wash off your stamps. So those are my basics that I have when I'm making these stamps. And we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing I did was I punched out all of the pieces to go with each card, and I've got them stacked behind me. So here's for card 1. The second thing I did is I put the stars into a craft jar, and then I've got my anti-static pouch in there, shaking that around a little bit to kind of anti-static those stars. So most of them will not stick. Let me take that out carefully because I really shook that good. Got a lot of stars on there. So that should make them a little bit easier to come out and not stick together so much. Let me put a few in. Whew, made a little bit of a mess. All right, so now stars all over the place. Move those out of the way. And let's get busy on this card. So I want to make sure I'm recording okay. Looks like it. All right. So like I said, you don't need too much. You're going to need some adhesive and pop dots. And I'm going to look at the first page of this. And some of the directions are just basically for shaker window assembly, because we'll be doing that at some point. And then they do a very simple directions. Because these cards are so easy, you don't really need a lot of directions. So let me get started with this one. It says basically stamp sentiment on card base. So even though they do give you this black ink in every one, because I've bought this card kit many times, I have many of these black inks, so I just sell them individually. And I am obsessed with archival black ink, so I am going to actually use that to stamp my sentiment here. I'm just going to make one of these cards, but you do make 2 of each one. So you're going to get a lot of cards in here. What's that, like 24 cards? Something like that. So let me get my sentiment. Now, you know, when you're using our stamps, you want to use the foam underneath. And the sentiment for this one is going to be the sending hugs. And then you want to season that a little bit. By rubbing it on the inside of your arm will work. Eraser will work if you want to use that instead. And then I'm going to carefully put it on my block. And like I said, I love archival black, so we're going to use that. Move this out of the way a little bit. I've got an edge right here in my table, so I'm going to have this just slightly to the right so I don't actually mess that up. Now, when you're getting your block inked up, I always like to go more to the side here. So I'm really just getting the stamp inked. You want to have your chamois close by in case you get ink on the block. So I turn it over, make sure I have no ink on that block. Now it's almost ready. I see just a little more ink that I got. The other thing chamois is good for is to wipe your hands. So this time I did get a little ink on that block, so chamois it off. And let's get this kind of a little bit lower on the, I'm looking on here, and I see it's a little bit down, not completely centered, so you can get that heart in. And press down. Hold it there for a second. The reason that I like this archival black is because it's so dark. A great crisp black. All right, let's see how I did. Not too bad. All right, so let me put that away. We'll do the other one later. And let's do part 2, embellish with die cuts as shown. See, not a lot of instructions because you don't need a lot of instructions on there. So we're gonna look at the card. Here's my card base. This is going to be the front, like this. All right, and then I've already got this blue is already printed into the card. So basically, we're going to put this down, and then we're going to put the frame over it. And if you can see, they've got it so easy for you that you can see exactly where that frame is going to need to go. This is the brilliance of these cards, is they are for anybody to make. Kids can make these. Anybody who's never stamped before can make these. I mean, they're just simple as can be. Slightly off center, but that's okay. Then on this, I'm betting anything that they have popped that up. And the reason I can kind of tell is there's a little bit of a shadow there. So I've got some really thin dots here that should fit. So I can make sure that the dots won't show on here. So these are just foam dots that I have thousands of. If you've ever seen me do an unboxing, you know that I buy these often because I really go through them like crazy because I love to pop up stuff. And I use quite a few. Now, especially in this frame, I'm going to use a little bit more than normal because, you know, it's thin. And if there's like a section that doesn't have a pop dot, you're going to be able to tell. And people, it'll press down and stuff. So I'm going to put one about every other little ruffle here. Whew. All right. But pop dots add so much dimension. They're worth using a little bit more. I'm lucky as a consultant, we get, we earn a lot of half off items. And sometimes I have like, I've earned 20 half off items or whatever. And so what I do is use them on adhesive and pop dots because I figure even if I was to quit close to my heart one day, although I don't foresee that happening, I would always need adhesive the rest of my life, right? Because I'm not giving up scrapbooking or card making ever because I love it. And I know how meaningful it is, you know, to give something to somebody or to preserve your memories. So I figure I'm going to need adhesive the rest of my life. Might as well get it at a discount, right? So that is one little benefit of being a consultant is you do get a lot of half off items and free stuff too. So if you ever have considered that, it's a good month to join because they're giving you free convention, which is $100 savings. Our convention is coming up. It's going to be virtual this year, but it's going to be amazing. So, all right, so I'm going to carefully try to put this right around where that yellow is on the other piece. And I'm getting a little sticky. This is where undo might have to come in handy. All right, I did it. Okay, so then the last little piece here, also I'm going to pop up, and that's going to be this little heart. So again, all I'm doing is looking at this to make this. And you don't require a lot of instructions because it's so easy. So a few pop dots for this too. Remember, these all come with envelopes. Peel off the last little piece. I have no nails this week. They've really gotten short. All right. So there we go. First card is done. Okay, let's work on card number 2. And don't worry, I'm not going to take you through every single card at this pace. I'm not going to explain it because you're all smart and can put these together easily yourself. So I will do the rest of the cards at some point and speed through them so you can see them, but not have to listen to me jabber away. So let's get this one because this is so super cute. I love this little birdie on here. I have started doing bird feeders these last few years, and I just enjoy so much when the birds come up to my feeder, and I'm still waiting for hummingbirds. I haven't had much good luck with them this year so far, but just have a nice little obsession with birds. No, I love them. I did have a friend when I used to work as a teacher who just hated birds. She'd had all these horrible experience with them attacking her, and one got stuck in her forehead. Believe it or not, its beak got stuck in her forehead. So this first part is going to go right above the lines here. And again, they've made it so easy because they have the spot where you to put this. It's just simple as can be to line up here, right against the white. And then, so it says stamp sentiment, which I didn't do first, so let's get to that. And this is gonna be, you can tell up at the top a little bit, so there's room for that bird. Get my stamp out. I didn't clean my last one. There we go. All right, so this is going to be You're in My Thoughts right up here. Now remember, if you don't like to do these in black, if you'd want to maybe use, it looks like they've got maybe toffee there, and you have toffee at home, you know, you don't have to do it exactly the same. This is made for people who want it fast and easy. So if you don't have the other inks and stuff, you always can use the black that they give you. Make sure this is on camera. When I sit down, I can't tell if I'm still on camera, so I'm always just hoping it's going to you guys. I'm gonna move this a little bit. Now I do have to stand up, just to stamp. All right. Push that down, let it sink in for a second, especially with the archival black because it's kind of sticky. So I wanna make sure it gets in there. See how I did. Woo, beautiful. All right. I hope that's not ink, that's just a little spot. Okay, next part is just to pop it on. Now this one I am going to, I'm gonna lay it flat on this one. I'm looking at this and I'm not seeing a shadow where they popped up necessarily, so I'm going to lay it flat, but I do see that they've stuck the little leaves underneath. So I'm going to do that before I stick it down, since I'm not gonna pop it up. And they've just kind of got it off slightly, sort of like that. And now I can glue the rest. And that looks like it's just about, now usually I would be using a ruler, but since they have lined this up so easily for me, not too hard to just tuck that down. And then let's pull up these birds. Hard to lift. Now theirs might be just a touch higher than where I put it. And since I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, I'm gonna carefully pull this off and go just a touch higher. Is anybody else a perfectionist out there? All right, better. A little bit of glue here where I pulled up. These pen glues are great. I know that we don't sell them, but I highly recommend them. All right, and then pop dot. I'm gonna use the big pop dot, I think, on this bird. And let's see, this little thing is gonna go right next to those petals and just below the sentiment, like that. And then there's a tiny little heart, and believe it or not, we'll be done. If those aren't the easiest cards in the world to make, I'll tell ya. Oh, lost my heart. Here we go. Had a second one. Just so simple to do. Pull this off. And the heart, just following the instructions there, goes right here. Fold the whole card. And it's done. Another thing you could use if you, I don't even think I have mine with me, but a bone folder too, if you like bone folders to make them really crisp there. Okay, we'll move on. Yeah, let's do the third card, and I did bring my bone folder for this one. I wanted to show you another thing. When you have your chamois, you know, instead of leaving it on your table or whatever where it might hurt something, you know, get something wet, I have a little container for it. This was an old pot that I had a plant in, and the plant died because I have a brown thumb. And so I just keep that in there, and it keeps my chamois off of all my good stuff. So let's look at the next one. I try to keep this a little bit higher because I see that I was getting a little low on the last one. Fold the card base. Here's my bone folder this time. I believe we still sell these, I'm not sure. All right, so here are the parts for this one. Directions. Stamp sentiment on speech bubble die cut. That would be this one here. It's going to be a little sentiment. Don't forget to use your foam pad. Got my sentiment here. Going to season it real quick. My arm. Now, when you have a smaller stamp and a bigger block, you want to put the stamp off to the corner so you have a little more control. You put it in the middle, you're going to be going like this. When you're stamping, you're going to be going like this. When you're inking, you don't want to do that. So you have a little more control if you put it over in the side. See, now I'm not having to ink the whole block to get this one little stamp. Hopefully you can see that. All right, and put that right there. Hold it down for a second, just let that ink sink in. It's just an extra added thing. And pull that up. All right, now, next part, attach scalloped die cut. And you're gonna wanna attach this with the string part at the top. Now this is where I normally would use my ruler. So if you guys are like me, I do like to have it fairly straight. I see I got a little ink on my piece. That's where a sparkle will go later. Guys, I've got some ink on my hands. Chamoised off. And I'll fix my little pieces later with some sparkles. All right, so now we've got the llama. And we need a few pop dots for that one. See how easy these are. So what I'm gonna do is I believe I have a shaker card one. So I'm gonna look through, figure out which one is the shaker card. I'm gonna make that for you, and then all the rest of these cards I will put on faster speed so that you don't have to sit and watch me make so simple cards. All right, so we're gonna, I think this is popped up too. Looks like I see a little shadow on that. So I'm going to pop this little sentiment up right under his mouth. My upline loves llamas. She is down in Mexico right now. I don't know if she's gonna be seeing any down there, but maybe. But she is obsessed with llamas. All right, let's put these here. So right there, kind of under his mouth. And then we've got these little, what do you call those, tassels? I guess that's what they are. So I'm gonna put one pop dot probably on each one. And then you just layer them on that little line. So this one goes, so it looks like it's hanging from the line like that. This is so funny that I'm doing a card like this because I was just looking at stuff in Mexico yesterday. Did you know that more Americans move to Mexico? The Americans that decide that, you know, they want to move somewhere else, Mexico is the #1 choice. Who would have thought, when we've got all these people coming across our border, coming to America, that Americans would go to Mexico? I think that's just hilarious. So Canada is the second spot that Americans go to. All right, there we go. So that card is done. I'm gonna put some sparkles because I messed up a little bit of ink there, but let's pull up the shimmer brush and just show. Now with shimmer brush, you don't have to hardly ever squeeze it. This one's been sitting for a while, but yep, it's still coming out. It just has a tendency to just flow out nicely and evenly without you even having to squeeze it. So I'm just gonna put a little sparkle on these tassels, just because I love it. So I will set that to dry, and that card is done. Next up is a shaker card. Okay, there are more than one shaker card in this kit, so I'm going to do all 3 of them for you. I believe it's 3. And then you'll really be an expert by the end of that. Now on the last card that I did, I forgot to put the sun on. So on that llama card, there will be a sun on there too. So set that aside and let's get busy on this shaker card. Here is the shaker card. And the first thing it says is stamp the sentiment on the card base. So let's get to that. Don't forget, put your foam underneath. Make sure there's no groove in the, the desk. And this time we're going to be using the happy birthday. So I'm going to season it and pull up my Archival Black. But again, they give you an ink pad in here. So just because I'm using Archival Black does not mean you have to. You can go ahead and use the regular black that they give you. But this is my favorite. And if you don't have Archival Black, you're missing out because it's just beautiful. So I'm going to put this slightly to the left, but not all the way, because we're going to have that shaker on there. So I want to make sure that my happy birthday gets seen. Gonna hold it down an extra second or two. This is a cute card. Remember too, if you are more of an advanced card maker, you can always you know, fix these up and make them even prettier too. Like one thing I could do with this is I could cut it down a little bit, take it off the card base, put it on a new card base, cut it down, and maybe put a either a white border on, or the sapphire border would be pretty, or maybe this is bluebird. So like a bluebird border would be really pretty on there. So there's lots of things you can do with it. And then of course you can always add, you know, liquid pearls or stickles, that kind of thing. All right, let me find the piece that fits there. So they give you the little window, the little plastic window, and they are, it looks like they're pretty much cut to size for what you're gonna need. On the plastic window is a little piece of a thin plastic, and you're gonna take that off. I use my eraser to do that, but you can try and peel it off with your fingers. It's only on one side. It's just to protect part of it, to make sure it's gonna be clear. All right, and then that is gonna go on the inside of this piece to hold in all of the little stars. So I'm going to glue this on. What's really important for shaker cards is that you've got them down glued very well. Not only the little window part, but your foam tape. And you want to not have any gaps, because on those gaps you can have the stars escaping. So I'm going to put this around like this and carefully stick that on there so that will glue. Now I noticed on these that the foam dots that they give you are pretty thick, and so if you put them on this little thin border that's around this shaker card, you're gonna have to trim them off. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to use the pieces between the tabs, and I'm just gonna cut those because it's the same sticky stuff, right? And so I'm just gonna cut those because they're already thin. If you, your other option is to get one of these and have these handy with you all the time. That's thin 3D foam tape, which is made just for these. So I'm gonna cut this down a little bit and attach this whole piece. So they do give you what you need in here. You're just going to take the alternative version of the tape, and then you're gonna put that on so it doesn't show in the front, but completely goes along this old edge, so that when you put your little stars in, that those are not going to pop out. So every piece, every bit of this needs to be covered right up to this. So I'm going to put this right next to the other piece of tape, so no little holes to escape from for those stars, because those stars are tiny. And then you just want to make sure when you're doing this that you're not letting it show in front. And I'm going to trim off the edge here. Okay, and check my video isn't messed up again. Yep, it's going. Excellent. And I've got a little extra piece here I can put, and again, pressing it straight up against the other piece. And trim a little bit more off of this. Don't have too much left to go. And that will make it much easier than having to put the little tabs on. I mean, that may be what they were thinking when they stuck that in there, that we're smart enough to figure that out, but just in case, I wanted to let you know. Now, I can use the tabs down here at this part. Again, pressing it right up against the other piece of tape, so no holes. And I'm just gonna keep adding these across there. Pressing it up against each time. Now this one is not gonna go all the way, so I think I'm gonna turn it and then stick another one, slip something a little narrower in there. Or I may have to cut it up. So non-stick scissors, just like this, and then press that all in there. Now every piece is going to keep those stars in. So after I put the shaker window together, yep, everything else is going to be decorative on the outside. So I'm going to peel off these tapes, or whatever you call them. Does anybody know what these are called? Post in comments if you do. The little pieces on top of the foam tape. And they are staticky too. Another way, another reason to have your anti-static pouch. Put it right on your fingers. That makes it much easier. All right, and we're gonna use that anti-static pouch another time here too, because you want the stars to freely flow in the shaker. And I'm gonna tell you another trick about that too. Okay, so now this adhesive has got adhesive on the inside too. So I'm gonna take this and I'm not only going to rub it over the window, but a little bit on the adhesive inside of the shaker on the foam tape. Just so that all of the little stars like this one sneaking in won't necessarily stick to the side of that tape, okay? Now we need our little stars. This is where a little spoon would be helpful, a little plastic spoon, but I'm just going to be careful and put some stars, and I'm going to try to keep them right in the middle here because I don't want them to get into my tape. Now, here's one thing you can do. If you have had trouble in the past with the pieces inside of your shaker all falling to the bottom and not looking as attractive or whatever, if you want to, you can always put a little dots of glue and stick down some of these stars first, and then they'll stay there forever, right, when you're shaking. But I'm not gonna worry about that today. And so let me stand up to do this. Guys, you're gonna line up your shaker right over that spot, that white spot that they've put so conveniently for you, like this. And press it down so that no stars get under your foam tape. See, beautiful. And then if you look on the paper, we've got the balloons to put on. This would be really good for liquid glass right there too, but I'm just gonna use the regular Tombow for these, but liquid glass would put those on nicely too. And you're just gonna layer them over. Oh, this reminds me that my daughter's birthday is this week, and I've got to figure out what I'm gonna get her, or if I'm gonna just give her cash. That's all my boys ever want is just cash. All right, now this, I really should have put this under first. Yep. So let me peel this up carefully. And let me see. That's what happens when you talk at the same time as doing your artwork. It's hard, it's easy to make a mistake. So I'm gonna put some glue on this. Hopefully still in frame here. And pop that on there. And start over with the red. and the green and yellow right on the top of each one of those pieces. Again, that just shows you right where to put it if you're paying attention. All right, so there we go. Shaker card, happy birthday. Hey, I might even give that to my daughter. All right, let's make another shaker card. We're gonna be making this one right here. First thing, stamp the sentiment. And it's gonna be stamped on this little piece. Aren't these cute? I mean, seriously. They're super cute. All right, get my ink going here. Remember, I put the stamp over to the corner so that I have more control. Now, this is gonna go right above the heart. Hello, sweet baby. Let it sink in for a second. This is gonna be a tiny shaker. All right, there we go. All right, move that away. Chamois. Good to clean your stamps right away. Otherwise you get like me and you forget, did I clean it? All right, I'm gonna use my bone folder. Make that nice and crisp. Now this is gonna be quite easy. This is gonna go right along the edge of the blue. This is what makes these cards so wonderful. Simple directions. All right. Right along the edge of the blue. And who doesn't like a shaker card? I mean, seriously, people will love these. And you'll see, they're just so easy to do. They've made it much easier. And if you don't get this subscription, which you absolutely should, one thing you want to do is to get the shaker boxes and circles and that type of things that we have. I don't have one handy here, but we have stars, we have hearts, we have circles, rectangles, and squares that are all pre-done shakers for you. Everything is even simpler than this. So look into that. And I believe at the last Sunday Scoops, I showed you how to use those shaker cards. All right, I'm going to save the butterfly and the heart for after I make the shaker. So let's get this together. All right, now they do have the pre-cut things for you. Don't forget, you're gonna have to take off the little plastic. And it just comes off so easy with our glue eraser there. And then this is going to be glued on to the back of the frame. Every section of it. All right, goes on pretty easy. Just like that. All right, put that on there. Now, I told you on the last shaker card that I'm using the in-between parts, these in-between strips, to fit on to the shaker because they're the right size. And this absolutely could have been their plan all along. Matter of fact, it's possible that that's what I was supposed to do, but I didn't read those directions, so. So maybe, I don't know, let's see. That piece there might actually be meant for that. And it probably fits on the whole thing, but I was too arrogant to think that maybe they had already planned this out for us. Let me see. So if this is true, then they already had it on there, and I'm thinking they did. That looks like it fits. So you guys, everything I said before doesn't matter because they gave you the piece you need already on there. So I didn't actually have to cut it because it was the right size already. Pretty amazing. Good for close to my heart, not so good for Barbara. All right, let me get that. So it was already on there. So when you do your shaker, this piece, this long piece, that's one whole rectangle is what you're gonna use. Instead of having to cut it like I did. Ah, if only I had read the directions. So that'll make it so much easier. I'm just off a little bit there, so I will trim one spot. Okay, so that's all pushed down. See? So much easier. And since I went slightly off center, I'm going to trim this. Oh my goodness, you learn something new every day. So now I'm going to get my anti-static in there. And I cut the outside of that other piece that would have fit perfectly. So that's all right. Everybody makes mistakes, right? So let me get this piece on. This will be our base for this whole shaker frame. And it looks like it goes just slightly off here. I'm gonna put it right along the pink and white border there. That should fit, yeah. All right, now I've already brushed in here, brushed on the outside. That got a little messy. So the other thing you can do is take your anti-static over this piece too. Again, that'll help the little stars go better. Let's see if I have anything like a spoon. I don't think I do. I want to be very gentle with these then. Now you're not going to need many on this one because it's a very small shaker. So I'm going to take my bone folder, get those inside, so that when I put my shaker window down, that it should fit over there. So now I'm going to peel off. I cannot believe that I didn't notice that. So, just to reiterate, when you go to make these shakers, the window tape is already intact for you, and you will not have to cut anything. So, let me do this standing above, so I get it just right. All these little, I messed up the outside of the window. I'll have to clean that off. And right over that. Press down. Now your shaker's intact. Wipe off that outside window. All right. So, shaker. There we go. All right, good. And then add on our butterflies. Get some foam dots. So cute and easier, even easier than I thought, because you don't actually have to cut the foam tape. It's already formed for you. All right, looking at my directions, a little bit of butterfly, and then a tiny dot for the heart. Woohoo! Even easier than I thought. Got my heart just a little bit off here. This is where non-stick scissors come in handy. And right like that. Shaker card number 2. Now, when I make shaker card number 3 next, what I should have used was this outside one that was already the right size. But instead, so my next one, yeah, so I cut that, see? And I didn't need to. So now I'm gonna go back and I'm going to use whatever I got left over here, and then I may have to add some of my own because I messed up. But you won't mess up because now you see my mistake and I made the mistake for you. So we'll be working on that in a second. Okay, last shaker card, and look what I found. I forgot they give you 2 of these, so now I can very accurately show you what you need to have. So when you are making these shaker cards, this part here is what you're going to pull out. This is what's going to hold in your shaker stars and stuff. And here's the last one up here. Okay, so that's what the right way to do it. And then all of the rest of the little tabs that are foam tape or whatever are for putting everything else on that you want to pop up. So when you do this, you don't even need to use your own pop dots, because those are on here for you. So let's make the last shaker card, and let's make it the right way. Actually, nothing that we did before was wrong. It's just not as easy as this is going to be. So let's look at this. This is a very pretty card. This has been fun. I actually like making these a lot, and the layouts that Valerie's going to show you are cool too. Super, super cool, super, super easy. All right, so let's do this. This is going to be a very large shaker card. So the first thing it says is stamp sentiment on card base. So that's going to go right here. I'm going to put my foam underneath. I'm going to season my stamp. Here's my ink. And let's get this down right. I always get nervous when stamping directly on a card. How about you guys? Let me know in the comments if you do. But I am looking and I see no black ink on my blocks. I think we're good to go. And I'm going to be very careful and press a little extra hard since this is a one-shot deal here on this card. So I'm just going to push my cards. Now you don't want to rock a stamp. Just press. Now let's see how I did. Woohoo! All right, awesome. Okay, so that part is done. And now we're going to, work on putting the shaker together. And it's going to be so much easier this time. All right, so the first thing you know we're going to need is our window here. And I think it's this side that's got the plastic. Let me check. Nope. So you just go along the edge with your glue eraser, and that will pick up that little plastic sheet, which sticks all the way to my hand. All right, so that's going to go on first. Remember, you're putting it on the back of the frame. Back of the frame, so that the pretty frame will be on the right-hand side. Yep. That on there. This is not hard to line up. Off my glue. All right, now after this shaker card, I'm going to speed up all the rest of them. Since there's no more shakers and everything else, it's really easy. So I will whip those out and then just see you at the end of the video. All right, this time let's do it right. So I'm going to take this large piece off like I should have on the other ones. Now, one thing you want to be careful of is that it doesn't get too out of shape, because you're kind of pulling it off and you want it to maintain that rectangular shape. So you're going to be careful when you're putting it back on that you don't go off the side, or then you're going to have to trim. So best way to do that is one side at a time. I'm going to start here. Hopefully this is showing on camera. And do first bit. That's down. Then the sides, very sticky. Very sticky. I'll go on this side, yep. Now I feel already that I didn't go quite right on the first side. I should have been a little closer to the outside edge, because I can see this is going to go off a bit. See that? So what do? Make sure everything's down secure. I don't think this went too much inside. If it was really showing a lot there, I would use my undo. But since I only messed up one side, I'm going to take my non-stick scissors and just trim that. No big deal. And so you're going to know now when you do this, get a little closer to the outside edge when you first start. I got a little too close to the inside edge. And we don't want this foam tape to show, so we'll just trim it off. So much easier with the non-stick scissors. See how that pulls off? Get that up there. Last little bit. Okay. Oop. I think I'll need just a little more trimming. Get that last bit. Just want it to be pretty. We don't want any foam tape to show. So when you put it on, you're going to put it on better than I did. See, I make the mistakes for you. All right, now, anti-static pouch on the inside and on over the card. Just will help a little bit. Remember what I said, that you can stick some of those stars to the card if you want them to stay in position. All right, let me make sure there's nothing else I have to do inside. I think everything else is gonna go on the outside plastic. I'm gonna stand up so I can see what I'm doing. And go straight down, whoops, straight down over the card. Line it up right. If you don't line it up, get yourself a bottle of unglue. Oh, oops, what did I forget? Forgot to put the stars in. Undo, miracle worker. We need some stars in there. Okay. Up a little bit of that. Going under the foam tape. There we go. Let that dry for a second. Now you notice that I even got that undo on the stamped image. Doesn't blur it or anything. While I got this open, I'm going to carefully pour some of these in. You're going to make sure you put yours in first. Yep, that's enough. Now, you don't want to get it on the inside of the tape, so I'm going to get these shook down. And my undo is almost all evaporated. And that means the sticky stuff comes back on. There we go. Miracle. Undo is a miracle. Just a little more adhesive here. I didn't get off. Okay, I'll trim that up later. So that part's done. Get my undo out of the way. Wipe it up. All right. Now, last part. Put the decorations on. When you do yours, make sure you put the sparkles on first. But that's what undo does for me. Because I make mistakes all the time. I go through probably a bottle undo every couple of months. So you know how many times I make mistakes. All right. But isn't that like a nice little miracle worker there? And it is stuck back down. So it just, what it does is shocks the adhesive momentarily. Once it evaporates, the adhesive comes right back. Let's put this here. And then the little hearts. One here. Hopefully I haven't lost mine. I got a little red one somewhere. All right, and then the rest of the cards I'm gonna go through much faster for you without my talking, just with a little music probably. And you'll see. The whole point of all of this is to show you how very simple these cards are to make and why you're gonna want a subscription. Because they're awesome. And who doesn't need a bunch of cards? So all of these sentiments are varied. So besides, whoop, I still got a little evaporating there. Besides the having the cards when you're done, you've still got a stamp set left too. And a whole jar of these. So you're getting a lot for your money, and the cards are not too expensive at all. You're gonna get, the way it works is you get every 4 months you're gonna get the 12 cards. I believe it's 12 cards times 2, so 24 altogether. So here we go. Shaker is done, and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, what'd you think? If you love it, like I do, you're going to want to go to the link that I'm providing and get your subscription signed up. And remember, like any subscription, you can cancel when you want to. So if it's not for you, that's okay. But I know you're going to love it. So give it a try.